Part 26. How the hell did I get myself here? This is a story about me becoming an international smuggler using this machine, working my way through the federal prison system in the United States, and, you know, the road to redemption, losing it all. Decisions you make today will affect you definitely down the road. So here we go. So we're in San Bernardino County Jail, and I'd been there for, I'd say, well over a week. But again, you don't exactly know what the days are. You're not going outside. You're in a tank. I was reading the paper, and San Bernardino is not, there's a lot of shootings. People are coming in all the time. It's a pretty brutal place. You're getting to know guys over the time. I met this other guy that was in there on a big pill case, let's just say that. He was good friends with Hugh Hefner at the time. He had a very interesting story how he was actually living overseas, and he had all his articles in the paper, Rolls Royce and everything like that. But guess what? It was just like me, another naked bum in the shower. He was looking at some serious time. And I also met another interesting cat, and they called him the Spitter. He was on Larry King and the Spitter, and they name you for sometimes what you do. This guy was from Seattle. He actually got drunk on a flight from Seattle to Hawaii. He ended up spitting on an air hostess when he was drunk, and he actually got 7 years because it's assault with not with a deadly weapon. It's assault or harmful body assault. But he got 7 years for that. He was going on a holiday, got drunk, and they don't play in the US. They don't play around with planes, and they don't play around when it comes to sentencing in regards to that. And he was on Larry King. Crazy story. I also met the mayor of Compton and Compton is that other place in California. He was there on embezzlement charges. So it was crazy when you actually got to meet people, if they talked about their case. Obviously, if you're talking about your case, or you don't have anything to hide. You're in a hierarchy, and especially when they found out I was a pilot. I wasn't really a pilot, let's face it, if you've heard the first part of these series. I was an amateur pilot, but when they found out that you're a smuggler, you're actually up on the pecking rank. It's considered a status crime, let's say that. It is true that anything sexual, it's not going to end well for you. So over the next week and a half, didn't know what to do, no phone. There were phones in there, but I couldn't make any phone calls at that point. I didn't know how to phone out. So you're completely isolated. You don't even know whether, you know, your friends or your family know where you are. I didn't know about lawyers. I had one little business card that lawyer had given me that I jotted down some numbers on. And each time I got transported, I put it in my Jackie Chan slippers. So the life just continued on there. Obviously, I was thinking about Mum in Australia, and time just slipped away. You are so far removed from the real world, and you got to think I had no communication at this point, none. So I didn't know what was going on. So one morning, about 3:30 in the morning, I actually get a call. Not a call, but a call up over the place. Smith, there was a bunch of names they rattle off. Roll up. That's what they call when to roll up your swag. Take your sheet off, and I was super excited. Like, I'm getting out of this dump because it sucked. That breakfast, just everything. There was one guy got beaten up by the guards. I seen beatings every day. There was some sort of incident, and just no sleep, no privacy. But again, you're in jail. So I was very happy when I got this call up to roll up. So I rolled up, and then you all stand next to the door, and you're marched out of there down to processing. This is awesome. I'm finally not sure how. Everyone told me that we're going to do Con Air, and that's how the marshals get you around the get you around the US was the Conair service, or JPEG. And as a bit of introductory, I'm not sure whether you guys like this, I can add photos of what it's like, what an airplane looks like, what a federal inmate. So if you want me to change the background in the next couple, let me know in the comments. So downstairs we go. We're, again, getting dressed out. So we're dumping those clothes back in our normal street clothes. Each time that process happens, it feels really weird. So we're in our normal clothes and they throw us in a holding cell. Now this holding cell, I would say, held about somewhere between 13 and 15 of us. One toilet in the middle of the room, not in the middle, but against the wall. No, just a toilet hanging off the wall, and 13 of us sitting there. I think it was a bathroom. There were no seats there. So we all just sort of sat on the floor or stood. And I think at that point they needed to give us a shot. So I remember sticking my arm through. This is how stupid you are. You've got no choice, sticking your arm through the bars. Some nurse came along, jabbed you with something, and then walked off. And I thought, okay, they're going to come and get us. Well, that was 3 o'clock in the morning. I'd say we were down there, processed into that cell at somewhere around 7. We stayed there for the next 13 hours in that cell. They would literally open the door. They were called sack lunches. We had sack breakfast, sack lunch, which is just a little carton of milk, a piece of fruit, and 2 bologna sandwiches. And I'll explain the sandwiches in the next couple, because the food actually, I didn't think the food could get worse. I wasn't eating, but the food does actually get worse. So 13 hours. In the end, we were taking off our shoes and trying to find a little bit of concrete to sleep on. And I was mostly 3 feet away from the toilet. And one guy got up and picked his way through the people, sat on the toilet and just let it rip. And I wouldn't have been 3 feet on the floor looking up, just going, how the hell did I get myself here? I have named the series after that, so that was definitely one of those moments. So we were in there all day, half the day. Finally, a car came in and picked us up, and I was actually in a cruiser. It was me, I believe it was me, about 2 others, maybe 3 others in the back of a cruiser. And then we sort of went more out into the Mojave Desert, and then I seen the building that we were going into, and the look on my face was just so disappointed, because I knew that we were going to another jail. So we were right out in the desert. There was nothing around, just this weird building in the middle of nowhere. The gates opened up, and I knew that we weren't going to a plane. We were going to another jail. Stay tuned.